I often wish Sir James Fraser, the great Victorian anthropologist, had visited St Ives, had climbed up Wolvers Hill on the feast of St James. I can't help thinking that the moment he saw the John Neal ceremony, he would have quietly reached into his pocket, opened his notebook, and began writing the missing chapter of his magnum opus, the 12-volume, The Golden Bower. After all, the Golden Bower is in many ways the story of the dying god, of rulers who sought to outwit death, of fertility surviving through ritual, and of ancient ceremonies whose original meanings have long since been forgotten. And here, standing before him, Fraser would have found John Neal, former St Ives mayor, a childless man in the twilight of his life, determined that his name, his legacy, and perhaps something of himself should survive beyond the grave. But Fraser would have looked beyond the mayor, the vicar, the customs officer, the fiddler, and the two widows dressed in black. He would have focused on the bones of the ceremony itself, a great granite shaft thrust into the sky, 10 virgins dressed in white, dancing around it in a ceremonial procession, young lives poised on the threshold of womanhood. Fraser wouldn't have seen an eccentric municipal celebration at all. He would have written in his notebook, pagan fertility rite. And this is the bit that would have made Fraser drop his pencil. This wasn't an ancient rite. It began in 1801, and John Neal was there watching, a man attending the first performance of his own immortality. Every 5 years since, that performance has been repeated. Now imagine you're not the first person to stand here on Wolvers Hill, or Cock Hill as we also call it, and feel that unsettling shift when a seemingly harmless civic ceremony suddenly feels ancient, symbolic, and just a little bit dangerous. In 1966, a young actor and writer named David Pinner came here and watched the ceremony for himself. Whatever he saw on this hill stayed with him. A year later, he published a novel called Ritual. It was set in Cornwall, an isolated village, young girls, ancient sacrifice. Suddenly, Wolvers Hill doesn't seem quite so far away. That novel caught the attention of Christopher Lee, who transformed it into the Wicker Man. John Neal to Lord Summer Isle. That's the trouble with ceremonies. Leave them alone for a couple of centuries and they start turning into horror films. But it doesn't stop there. That iconic book of American folk horror, Thomas Tryon's 1973 Harvest Home, has the residents in a small Connecticut town of Cornwall Coombe still practicing the old ways of their Cornish ancestors. This time, a ritual sacrifice every 7 years, dancers in white. It seems like the Neal ceremony just transplanted across the pond, just with extra blood. David Pinner gave us Ritual, Christopher Lee gave us The Wicker Man, Thomas Tryon gave us Harvest Home, and Stephen King planted the same old fears in his book, Children of the Corn. Every genre has its birthplace. For folk horror, it's Wolvers Hill. And the grandfather is John Neal.